Hello, my name is Michelle Kukan. I'm a sophomore at Ramapo College of New Jersey, where I am majoring in history and American studies. The video you are watching is part of a virtual film festival produced as a final project in Dr. Jacob Lubenz's course, Holocaust in Media. I'd like to thank the Gross Center for Holocaust and Genocide Studies for sponsoring this program. I will be presenting the 1982 American television film, The Wall. This 2 hour and 15-minute film was produced by HBO Studios. It was directed by Robert Markowitz. The Wall stars Tom Conti, Lisa Eichhorn, and Gerald Heiken. Please watch a trailer that will be posted on the website of the Gross Center for Holocaust and Genocide Studies. I'm excited for you all to watch the film. It explores themes of love, death, survival, courage, loyalty, violence, and resistance. These themes are spread throughout an attention-grabbing plot. The film seeks to answer several questions, such as how did the Jews of the Warsaw Ghetto survive the conditions? How were the prisoners of the ghetto able to organize for an uprising? How were they able to hold off the Nazis for an extended period of time as underdogs? In my opinion, the performances of Conti, Eichhorn, and Heiken are entertaining and keep audiences engaged. This is also true for the supporting actors and the side characters. Conti plays the role of Dulk Burson, Eichhorn plays the role of Rachel Apt, and Heiken plays the role of Fischel Schwant. This film is relevant for audiences to view so that they become aware of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising if they were not already. This depiction is also an opportunity to see how positively outsiders view the bravery of the Jewish fighters of the uprising. It also highlights how these Nazi atrocities are viewed. An important aspect of this film is that there are many depictions of violence throughout the film, but it is not gory. This ensures that audiences that would normally avoid a film because of its gore watch it. This means that the film and the fact that the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising happened reaches a wider audience. One of the reasons I chose this film was because of my Polish ancestors. This film is a fictionalized version of Polish history, and it's interesting to think about the fact that my ancestors were in Poland at the time of the uprising. The Wall is a dramatization of the April 19th, 1943 uprising of the Warsaw Ghetto. It is named after the wall that allocated the Polish ghetto. It is also based on a novel. The film begins in the Warsaw Ghetto in October 1940. It centers on Dulk Burson, Rachel Apt, and Fischel Schwant. The film follows life in the ghetto for Jews. After discovering that Jews are being deported and killed, Burson, Apt, and Schwant create a resistance group. This group receives help from the Polish underground and smugglers. This group, which they call themselves the Jewish Fighting Organization, fights the Nazis by using bunkers, sewers, guns, and homemade bombs. In reality, the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising had an estimated several hundred Jewish resistance fighters. There were approximately 7,000 Jewish casualties that resulted from the uprising. An additional 7,000 Jews were captured and murdered at the Treblinka extermination camp. As mentioned before, the film takes place in the Warsaw Ghetto in Warsaw, Poland. The Wall uses different settings within the ghetto that a viewer should pay attention to. This helps with the film's build up to the uprising, as well as shows the poor conditions endured by those imprisoned inside the ghetto. A majority of the film is in the middle of the street. Other locations include households, hidden bunkers, sewers, and train tracks. Each location has great importance that ultimately leads to the uprising. One thing to consider is whether or not you think this is an accurate representation of the uprising. Do you think the depiction of the uprising is accurate? Do you think the amount of fighters represented the actual number of fighters? While watching, I suggest looking at the portrayal of the different types of resistance. There is violent resistance, which is most notable being the uprising. There are also quiet, smaller instances of peaceful resistance against the Nazis. There is one interesting scene, approximately 30 minutes in. Nazi soldiers violently organize some of the Jews in the ghetto to appear as if they are enjoying a dinner outside a restaurant. The Nazis physically assault and shove around the Jews into the position they want. How does the music contrast with the image of the scene? Why do you think the Nazis did this? Another interesting element of the film is that the audience knows more about the time up to, around, and the actual event of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising than the characters do. The audience knows what happens to the Jews who are deported, but the characters do not. The audience knows that the Nazis want to liquidate the Warsaw Ghetto before the characters do. However, the film is created in a way that leaves audiences on the edge of their seats. One reason I picked this film is because of Lisa Eichhorn's character. In the film, her character was depicted as a strong leader who helped train fighters of the Jewish fighting organization. She was also an instrumental figure in the actual fighting. Another reason I chose this film is because it is one of the few film depictions of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. Although the movie is fictionalized, there are screen cards that provide factual information about the uprising, as well as dates. The end card explains Jewish fighters in real life continued to fight. These cards inspire audiences to learn more about what actually happened. As a result of this film, I learned a lot about how the Jewish fighters of the uprising are viewed by an American audience. Rightfully so, these fighters are viewed as underdog heroes. To sum up, The Wall is a film that is worth your time. While this was not a big name blockbuster film, it is not well remembered by audiences. The Wall has its merits in presenting the April 1943 Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. Remembering the uprising is especially important as more survivors and eyewitnesses pass away as time goes on. It is also important to remember the Warsaw Jews that were murdered and died as a result of the inhumane conditions perpetrated by Nazis. Like many other Holocaust films, it evokes numerous emotions such as hope and sadness. It should be considered an important movie within the genre of Holocaust films. It is important to remember that this film is fictional and the director and writers took some creative liberties. However, this does not affect the overall depiction about the uprising itself to a degree where it seems as if it's made up. I hope you take advantage of the link that provides free access to this film. Remember to be sure to check out the other videos and trailers within this virtual film festival on the Gross Center's website. I want to thank Dr. Jacob Lebenz and the Gross Center for Holocaust and Genocide Studies. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. I hope you have a great rest of your day.